in the mirror. It is just absolutely toxic. And I think it's really, especially, I felt this really personally to me because when I was a candidate on the campaign trail, I felt like I was constantly looking over my shoulder. And I'm deeply aware of these kind of threats. But no one should have to fear for their life when they're running for office. And this kind of violent rhetoric, it just opens the door to all sorts of future attacks. And it also, yeah, it implies progressives are violent. So it justifies political violence, and instead of condemning it, it victim blames.
One of the counters one frequently hears from conservatives is the idea that there is a great deal of outrage in circumstances like this where the suspect appears to be right leaning. But then they allude to, well, obviously there was an assassination attempt, one particularly close assassination attempt of President Trump. There have been other attempts from people apparently of a leftist view. The shooting at a congressional softball practice. There's someone who was charged with attempting to murder Brett Kavanaugh at the Supreme Court. So, what do you say to those who would argue that this is a problem of toxic rhetoric that crosses partisan lines?
We need to stand firm in condemning this kind of political violence, no matter who it's coming from. And this is not a right or a left issue. This is an American issue because in one of the hallmarks of America is that we can criticize the government without fear of repercussion or violence. And when that stops being true, it has a chilling effect on free speech. So we need leaders from all spectrums of political backgrounds to come forward and condemn violence and extremism.
Whatever its ideological motivation.
Absolutely.
Now, you mentioned just now that when you were running for Senate, you felt a degree of unease yourself. How worried are you about the general atmosphere that we're in right now in the US in terms of the political toxicity that we're referring to? And just tell me a little bit about whatever personal fears you had.
Yeah, I mean, when a Democratic lawmaker is murdered in cold blood at her home, it really sends a shockwave to anybody who's thinking about running for office or is currently elected. And no one should have to fear for their life when they serve the public or when they're doing their job. Especially being a woman, though, I think you face sort of a double, the threat feels magnified. And I hope that we can find a path forward in America where people can run and speak freely without fear of this kind of violence. And despite that overwhelming fear and the threats, I kept showing up, and it takes a lot of bravery and courage for people to do that. And so I just wanted to also show my utmost respect to our elected lawmakers, people that are continuing to run despite these real risks that are out there.
Caroline Gleick, thanks for joining us at The Hill.
Thanks so much for having me.